Hey everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Two, where each and every, 3 times a week, I do episode reviews, season reviews, whatever is on the TV, whatever's on the tube. Basically, that's all I do. So anyway, this week, for this special, not really special, this episode, I'm talking about The Rookie Season 2. If you were unaware, I have done The Rookie Season 2 episode reviews throughout since September, end of September. It was actually the very first episode of this show, this overall show that I did was the season 2 premiere. And last week it ended. It's over. I'm still very sad that, there won't be another Rookie episode for. Hopefully we get to come back for season 3, but that'll be next week's pitch. But it's still bittersweet, at least for me as a fan, and I know like a million of other fans out there are just very disappointed right now that, the show's over for now, season 2 is over, and the fact that it's going to be a while before we hear anything about a season 3 or whatever. Anyway, with that being said, so we're doing Rookie Season 2, this review. It's going to be spoiler free. You can find The Rookie, both seasons on Hulu. So if you want to binge all that while you're still stuck in lockdown, it's there. So I'm keeping this spoiler free. I would love to do a spoiler review where I just talk about everything about the show, but I've already did that in the season, all the season 2 episode reviews, so you can check that out if you want to hear me talk more about in depth of those episodes each when I did it week by week. But this is basically just going to be a general pitch for you on The Rookie, and it's a little bit baffling for me considering the fact I didn't do anything for Rookie Season 1. I was going to do something before I started, but then after that, because of timelines and schoolwork and just it didn't work out, so I had to punt things back. So I could not do that. So just take my word for it. So I'm going to do a very brief season 1 pitch / review. So for me, when The Rookie came about, it was about, so summer of 2018, and you saw Nathan Fillion's face on posters. Like, I don't think I went at least a good day without seeing a poster for The Rookie. And I was like, okay, fine, you know what? I'm going to watch the show. You got me curious. I saw the trailer that came out during San Diego Comic-Con. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna check this out. So I watched the first episode and I fell in love with it. Like, there's just something about Nathan Fillion. There's something about this world. There's something about this cast that I love. And I was just hooked. It just became my, I think it was my number 1 show that television year. And so when I knew when I was going to make this show specifically, What's on the Tube, I knew The Rookie Season 2 had to be on the roster. I had to be reviewing those episodes. And I managed to do it. I did 20 episode reviews, and I'm proud of it. So The Rookie follows if you are just, just curious on The Rookie itself, stuff like, or you just came back from season 1. Regardless, I'll do a very brief plot recap. The Rookie focuses on John Nolan, who is a in his 40s, having just sent off his son to college and is now divorced from his wife. And while he's getting ready to kind of close that chapter of his life and try to figure out what is next for him, he inadvertently stops a robbery in progress, and he gets this sort of spark about saving people that he decides he's going to move down to California and become a police officer, and then becomes the oldest rookie to ever join the police force. And that's kind of, we pick up the show months later, now him being an official rookie officer, getting his TO, and then, alongside his 2 friends / classmates from the rookie program, Lucy and West. Oh, yeah. Lucy and Shannon West, I'm forgetting. Anyway. So, and we get to see that. We get to see the adventures of John Nolan and, him trying to figure out how the world of the policing works here in LA, as well as dealing with his TO, his training officer, as well as we get to see his other fellow rookies deal with their TOs and all the interesting relationships and scenarios they get into, and also dealing with their commander, Commander Gray, and just the whole dynamic of these 7 really sold me on the premise of the show, and I got so hooked on it. And then when we got to the end of season 1 with that cliffhanger, I'm like, there's got to be a season 2, and then we're back for season 2. So story-wise, I feel like season 2 is leaps better than season 1. I feel like season 1 had an overall loose thread throughout the 20 episodes. There wasn't really a necessarily serialized story we had to watch. It was mostly something that I love about certain shows like this one. It's all about the characters. the characters are the things that are driving the show. That this show could not have a single story of it. Like, season 2 could have just happened without a real story, and I would have still enjoyed the hell of it. Because these characters, the personalities that they have, and the actors that bring these characters to life, was the things that sold me on this show. And it would have kept me going as season 2 would have started up. However, this season, they actually had a lot of more story threads than normally speaking, considering the fact that, again, I won't spoil a thing, but there are certain elements that come up in the first half that will have a big payoff towards the conclusion of season 2, and that was just so great to see, really so great to see. And the way season 2 picks up after season 1, where they could have done many scenarios on how the cliffhanger could have ended. It could have been very much so, we're doing a time jump, or we're just going to keep very vague facts about the fate of a character from the end of season 1 till the very end of season 2's premiere, just to keep fans hooked to the end. But no, they say fuck it first, before we even get the intro, because this show does have like a little intro. No, we have to just say fuck it, this is the revelation, here he is, done. Simple. Give them full respect on that. And then from then on, we kind of begin season 2 proper. And I feel like the biggest change of view are coming from season 1 to season 2. Biggest change, I explained this in the premiere of season 2, when we started this back in episode 1. So the original TO for John Nolan was Bishop, Officer Bishop. And she had, first of all, before I get to what happened, hands down, had a really great character arc throughout the first season. And I really miss that dynamic, I really do. But circumstances happened between productions of season 1 and 2. I won't get into it fairly soon, but there was allegations, there was, comments made that the actress decided to leave after season 1 and then to come back for season 2. So when we picked up with season 2, Nolan, we do get a little time skip where Nolan doesn't have a TO anymore. He doesn't have a permanent TO anymore. She got transferred to another department, so she can't really stay around anymore. And that's unfortunate that we really don't get any sort of context or any sort of like minor updates from her after that. I have to respect the fact, considering the fact, the nature of the official departure. It makes sense why they wouldn't keep that door open. I really wish they would have made a little bit of an effort to keep it open. But that's my one tiny nitpick. Just don't expect any sort of like Bishop mention after the season premiere. Just don't. It's not going to happen, hands down. That's not a spoiler, it's just a fact. The way season 2 picks off is here's the thing. No, because of the police department works and regulations, it's not a spoiler to say that Nolan does get a new TO. I won't spoil that new TO, but her dynamic is she's never meant to replace Bishop. She's just similar in vein to the whole, like, we still get a spark of that original, like, quarrel and dynamic between Nolan and Bishop, but it's definitely different. It's different enough to, like, we see a lot of more comparisons between these two, and we also see them respect each other more. And no matter what, I still respect the original dynamic, but this dynamic was very much so a suitable follow-up. Not a replacement, but a follow-up. And the way the characters, but the story for this season, again, I can't spoil that much of it, but we get to see some new characters. We see, you will see if you haven't watched it yet. There's Harold Paramount, which, if you don't know that name, well, I'm sorry because I butchered his name again, his last name. He was on Lost, he was on Constantine. Really good character actor, really good one. And him joining the cast as a recurring role. I don't know why, I just really digged his character. I really did. He was funny, entertaining. You're going to fall in love with him. I won't say more beyond that, but he was a nice addition. We do get some pretty cool guest stars throughout the season, like Alan Tudyk. Again, hashtag added Tudyk spinoff, please, or bring him back for season 3, please. We do get that. But this show is always filled with cameos. Like, we got I won't spoil some of them, but we got Seth Green to cameo. I mean, that was all right. What else? We got I forgot her name again. I feel so bad. She's actually married to the guy who plays Bradford, which is Rosalind Sanchez. Rosalind Sanchez. She was in Rush Hour 2. From when I saw it back as a kid, which was freaking awesome. It was like worlds colliding here, and she's actually married to the guy who plays Bradford. So it's Bradford. So it was so great to see her again, and there's more guest stars along the way, but I won't spoil much more about that. And Yeah, I feel like the story. I feel like they've also set up some more story beats for hopefully maybe the next season to cover about still introducing actual elements of policing into this world and still paying off in a very valid way. And I really love the way they improved the story this season. Not to say season one story was anything bad, but they put more emphasis on season two story, and it all worked much better for the show's favor. The characters. John, we'll start from the, not the bottom, I'm just going to start okay. I feel like every single character has gotten some sort of major, character development throughout season two. I feel let's start with the TLs, Bradford. Bradford was the hard ass that everyone loved, no matter how much of a dick he was to Chen. We all loved him, and I think this season he just grinds her a little harder. Not in that way. Actually, I had a whole theory, and I won't explain much of the theory, but I had a theory early on season two, maybe these two got a little bit of chemistry, but it turns out they just got a brother sister dynamic. That's all. But Bradford, the way they evolved him, and especially more later in the second half, is they gave him more humanity. As season one, his storyline was mainly dealing with his ex-wife / still wife, with her drug addiction and her turn on the police department, having to deal with that scrutiny, having to deal with that tarnish his reputation. And we saw the end of season one, him kind of letting that go and letting him explore what else is out there and still focusing on himself. Whereas season two, we start to see he has a good side to it. Underneath that hard assness ship, he is still a good man. He has a nice heart. And we see him go through certain events that actually make him, we see the more human side of him. And I was really appreciative of that. And they make him even more likable, but still making him a hard ass. Diaz, Officer Diaz. Diaz had a very interesting arc this season because last season we kind of saw her kind of slumped out because she didn't exactly get into become a detective, which is usually most police officers' dreams, to become a detective. But also she got to meet the love of her life, Iceman from X-Men, Wesley. And the two had a very sweet relationship. Despite them, being the one is a hard ass police officer, the other one is a very strict lawyer, and they still work very well together. They somehow works, and I'll never understand how love works, considering the fact I've never been in love before. So, anyway, with that being said, enough about me. Diaz grew a lot more because Diaz was always a very chill back police officer, regardless of still her being a bit of a hard ass to her rookie, which was West. She still was the more likable Tio, the more softer of the three, in a way speaking. That's not taking away from who she is really, but she was more soft than them. And seeing her this season very much, it made her more like. It made her more how do I describe this properly? It made her feel more. We got to see her deal with more issues and her bettering herself because of the solution of their issue. Because even though there were moments oh no, I really feel sorry for her. I don't want her to go through this. She's gonna have a bit of a scare in the beginning of the season, and then just seeing that all pay off towards the end. It's one of the examples of good things happen to good people eventually. And that's what happened to her. And I was really happy for her at the end. To Wes. Wes had a bit of an identity crisis in the beginning of the season where there was this whole midway test they have to take that it's still gonna it would prove if they were ready for the next step of their training / should they go back and repeat the first 6 months of the program. And despite him being the smartass, despite him being the smartest one in the group, the one who was most likely to succeed, he got the lowest grade. And it actually hurt his identity for the first few episodes, since all he knew growing up was to be this officer, to be like his dad. And when we see that happen to him, it's it kind of throws everything in perspective. Everything I've worked for did not equal to what I should be getting. And he kind of had to figure out that, okay, I'm going to just figure this out for myself. I need to be myself for once, not trying to be what I should be, but I need to be what I need to be. Something like that. I really don't know how to word it correctly. And some good things happened to Wes. I feel out of all the rookies, he had gone through the the less amount of trauma this season. I mean, the less amount of trauma doesn't mean he hasn't went through trauma, but I won't spoil what happens later on. But he has dealt with a lot. He's still dealing with a lot, and I feel like it made him a better officer by the end of it. Lucy Chet, oh my god, Lucy was kind of that one character I was so scared of, because in season 1, and this is no fault to the actor, this is no fault to anyone at all, maybe the writers a little bit, is that I felt like Lucy was the very underused / underdeveloped character in season 1, where, don't get me wrong, her dynamic with Bradford still stood out the most, but I didn't really see much of a change. Like, at first she was, having a secret relationship with Nolan, and the two were kind of debating should they even consider still being dating, and then when they did eventually had to end it. I from what I remember from season 1, she didn't really do much after that. She was morally focused on being an officer, which is fine, but we didn't get to see her go for any crucial changes. So when season 2 started around, it was kind of becoming the whole same old, where, yeah, her relationship with Bradford is getting more stronger, / I was theorizing that maybe they were going to eventually hook up at some point, but that got threw out the window quickly. So my fear was that, what is going to be the thing for her? Because, like, I didn't want to deal with another season of her just not really growing as a character. I want to see some big developments. I want to see that. And again, I'm not trying to spoil anything about season 2 in general, more so that the minor things I've said. There's going to be that big moment where it's like, oh my god, this is it, let's go. And I was really happy. Here's the thing, the whole event, that I'll say, not the best thing to go through, but it was the moment. It was like, okay, this is where shit gets serious. This is where things are going to get pushed to the next level, and I'm loving it. I'm loving this direction. And she is part of what I think one of the best episodes of the season, which I'll explain more about later. And then Nolan. Nolan is always that guy that somehow everything just works out for him, but this season, there were just some moments where it's like, he had more losses than victories. Like, starting off this season, he does have a girlfriend. He's, getting more comfortable with her. He's getting his own place away from... And that's the one thing I didn't like about season 2, is that the best friend that he had that kind of hooked him up with a room in season 1, he's just gone. Like, they just got rid of his character. I'm like, what the hell happened to him? Like, not even a mention? Okay. So, anyway, with that being said, so we see Nolan kind of still is happy-go-lucky, still the same self. He doesn't change as a character. Like, he's still the core Nolan we know and love, but he's getting more hardened. He's getting more open to the idea things are not entirely as they seem. And he will go for some very tough moments, especially in the second half, where it's like, it tested Nolan to the point where it's like, okay, things are not as, clear as they're going to be, or things are not going to be as well as they're going to turn out to be. And I really respect they push Nolan to that limit. Again, I really want to spoil this, but I'm trying to the way Nolan ends up from the beginning of season 1 to the end of season 2, very much it was an interesting journey and very much a great thing to go through. And again, I would love to talk about more. But again, if you want to check out what I'm really talking about, check out my episode reviews where I talk more about that in depth as soon as you watch the episodes, of course. I'm not trying to, force you for anything. And then best episodes of the season. I think the best episode of the season, hands down, without a doubt, before getting into... I won't spoil it, but there's a two-parter in the midway point, and the episodes that turned out to be the mid-season premiere, the one that came back for the second half, that was probably the best episode ever done. That was the most well-written, the most well-edited, the highest quality performance I've ever seen in that show. That's probably like the top episode, hands down. Not to say the season 2 premiere was bad, not to say any other episodes in season 2 was bad, or season 1, or in the finale season 2, but that episode just put things in a big perspective, and it put things on a high stake, that this was the episode to really come up on top. And when you get there, you're going to know, and you're going to agree with me too, this is where shit really gets serious. And I really loved it. I think the worst episode, and again, I feel like every episode of season 2 is great, is at least bare minimum good. Most of it's great, some of it excellent. There was a couple of them that were kind of like good, which were, in my sense of the definition for this category, was the worst. It's not the worst. It's just like the least ranked. The Seth Green episode was not my favorite. It was not my standout. I feel like it was a good episode, but I just didn't think the Seth Green character just worked in this universe. Again, I'm not trying to make a joke because Family Guy made a whole Seth Green sucks joke. That's not my point. I'm not trying to make that an issue. I'm just saying that's my general opinion. And slash Alan Tudyk's probably the best guest star appearance we had all season. But anyway, with that being said, would I recommend The Rookie Season 2? Hands down. If you haven't watched Rookie Season 1, watch that too. And then immediately see Season 2. Because the way things go about is very much so important. And it was very critical. And Season 2 is way better than Season 1. And Season 1 was already great. Season 2 just elevated it to a new level. And you're going to love the new characters. You're going to be shocked by certain decisions. And you will agree with me that Season 2 is better than Season 1. And I really can't wait to see if and when we come back for Season 3. But with that being said, I do recommend The Rookie Season 2, which is now available. And it's entirely on Hulu. So go pay for a Hulu subscription and then also binge all 40 episodes. It's going to be a blast. And that's going to do it for me, guys. So again, if you were unaware, this was What's in the Tube from ActionX. If you want to know what we do overall on What's in the Tube, we do DC Stargirl in episode reviews. That's going to start up this Thursday. We're going to do that every single Thursday after a brand new episode on DC Universe on Monday. And then it's new episode also on Tuesday on the CW. So check that out. We do Katie Clean Chapter reviews every Saturday after a new episode on Thursday on the CW. That's slowly wrapping up, but we still got a couple more weeks to go on that, on its run. But if you only care about The Rookie, well, The Rookie, we used to do Rookie episode reviews every single Monday after a brand new episode on Sunday nights on ABC. We've reached close to Season 2, so right now we're doing some wrap-up. We just did the Season 2 review live, and now next week, for the last time for the season, hopefully, we will be doing the Season 3 prediction / hashtag renews Rookie movement. So stay tuned for that. That'll be next week, and then after that will be the wrap-up to the Rookie Season 2 content here on What's in the Tube. It's again saddening because I love this show so much, and it's so bittersweet that I spend so much time, 21 videos talking about it, and I feel like I want to talk about it more. I will do it one more time, but next week, but it's going to be a while before I get to do this again. But again, with that being said, what was I going to say? Anyway, so with that being said, again, this was What's on the Tube from ActionX. If you want to see more, please subscribe to ActionX on YouTube. Please ring the bell for notifications when we have a new episode live. Like, favorite, share if you want to. It really does help us out, get us out there. And also, follow us on social media, and yeah, that's going to do it for me. So for you, Rookie Nation, I'll see you guys next week for the Season 3 predictions and hopes. And also stay safe out there, be good to each other. We're going to get through this pandemic together, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace out.